Guys, thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to demo one of the palettes from the new brand by Mario. In case you guys do not know who Mario is, he is the makeup artist for Kim Kardashian. Throughout his career, he has collaborated with different brands where he's created his own palettes, but now he has graced us with his own makeup line. So he actually ended up launching several products considering it's his first release. So there is variety out there, but I went ahead and only treated myself to one of the products, and it had to be an eyeshadow palette. And I went with the one that I felt I can get a little bit more out of as far as uniqueness. And so this is the palette that I picked up. This one's called the Master Metallics. So before I open this up, let's talk a little bit about the packaging. When you see this online, it looks quite cheap. It was actually one of the reasons why I was a little bit turned off from the brand, because it just did not look like something that I would like. Honestly, I am very much into luxury makeup, so I love that luxury packaging that comes with that. And when I was seeing this, it was really deterring me from actually trying out something from the brand. But I kept seeing swatches, and I saw a few people post pictures on Instagram wearing shades from this palette, and this is the one that I was intrigued with the most, that I just decided to go ahead and pick it up to see for myself what I think about it. And the packaging is actually a lot better in person. It is very simple and very sleek. The brand name, which is by Mario, is raised here. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see that. So that little detail I actually do like. I do wish the font, or I don't know, there is something that I feel is missing within the packaging, but it's not bad. It's honestly so much better in person than how it appears online. Then the back, we have the name, and we also have all of the shade names, which in reality there aren't technically any shade names. They're all numbers. So we have metallic 1, metallic 2, metallic 3, and so on. Now this does come with a sizable mirror, and it opens up about that much back. I do like the mirrors of my palettes to open straight up, but it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. Now inside we get a total of 12 eyeshadows. As you can see, these are all metallic shades. Very beautiful, very vibrant. I got my palette from the Sephora website, and on their sites it says that this is a palette of go-to universal metallic shadows that creates endless eye looks in 12 creamy, luxurious shades that melt onto the lids. I did read that we can use these both wet and dry. I like to only use my eyeshadows dry. If I wet them, it usually emphasizes the wrinkles on my eyes, and ain't nobody want that. So I always use mine dry, but I will say, and at this point I'm just going to jump straight into the review because I've already used this palette. So I will say that the finish of these it's quite unique in the sense that they look wet on the lids. I have worked with metallics that look very beautiful, are very metallic-y, so very bright in that sense, but not so much where they look almost glossy, and these look glossy on the lids, especially if you apply it with your finger. You can use a brush, but depending on the type of brush that you use is going to depend on the type of pigment and finish that you get from these. So if you want that real opaque, also kind of very glossy type of finish, you're going to want to use a very dense brush. Otherwise, I strongly recommend to just use your finger. And what I did today is I would apply the shadow with my finger, and then I would go in with a brush to blend out the edges so that I can get the most out of these shadows. I think these are really beautiful. You're going to see in my demos that for the most part these shades complement each other pretty well, and then you can overlap these shadows to create your own customized shades. So I had pretty good luck with these. I will say there was some fallout, especially with the blue shades. I think I got it most with this bottom one, which is called Metallic number 12. But it could have been because I did work with this one a little bit extra with my brushes. This one also gave me some fallout, not too bad. For the most part, it wasn't horrible. But if you are using a fluffy brush with these and you're going to start packing on and blending, just know it can cause a mess. Oh, I just remembered something else I wanted to say about the packaging, which to me kicked that up several notches. First of all, the weight of it is quite nice. I totally skipped out on this part. It's got a pretty nice weight, so it doesn't feel cheap, and it's magnetized. I love that it's magnetized. It just makes it a little bit more worth it for me. Again, I'm just about the packaging. It doesn't have to, I mean, obviously, if the packaging is great and the products inside is not, then the packaging I don't really care much about. But for me, everything matters. I want my products to, as a whole, just perform great and look great and feel good. And I just, you know, I'm all about the experience when I'm doing my makeup. I think I mentioned that in my last video. And I like the packaging of this and the experience that I got while using this. There is one pretty big issue that I had with this palette, and it's the fact that even right now, as I am speaking to you guys, eyeshadow keeps getting in my contact lenses. I had such a horrible time with my contacts and this palette. It honestly made me playing with these shadows so much longer than it had to be because I had to keep cleaning my contacts, I mean, continuously. Now, this is something that happens to me with a lot of my eyeshadows, but with this, it was insane. I have never had such an issue with shadows as I did with this palette. I don't know how I can use it differently or what I can do differently to avoid that from happening. I am extremely blind where if I don't have my contacts in, I literally cannot see or do not know what I'm doing. I have to have my contacts on if I do not have on my glasses. And it's impossible to do your eye makeup with glasses on. So for me, it's not so much of an option to just remove my contacts, do my makeup, and then put them back on. It's just not gonna work for me. So that is a huge bummer from my end because it was bad, guys. So a little bit more about this palette. Because it is an all metallics palette, for a lot of people, this is not gonna be a palette that you're going to pick up and use and not have to worry about grabbing shadows from other palettes or other single shadows. I feel like for the most part, people are not going to be satisfied with just using this as a standalone. However, I'm finding that I've been able to create several looks, especially lately, with palettes that are all like shimmer or metallic shades, and that's pretty much what I did today. The eye look that I have, I'm wearing only shadows from this palette, but it really depends on the person. So if you're someone that enjoys doing makeup looks using all metallic or shimmery shades, then this will be perfect for you. If you don't mind reaching for another palette, this would be great as well, because this is a good like addition to palettes. Again, I will use it alone as is, but I'll also use it in conjunction with other palettes. So it just really depends. I also do feel like this is the type of palette that you kind of already need to have an idea on the type of look that you want to be motivated to reach for it. At least that would be the case for me. I don't think this is something that I'm going to, you know, keep up here on my vanity and just have it kind of handy at all times. No, I don't really see myself using this all that often, to tell you the truth, but it's not to take away from how beautiful this is and how beautiful these shadows perform. It's just preference, and this, again, this is just not something that, I don't know, I just don't really see myself using all that much, but it is a very nice palette. Now, what happened with me while I was working with this palette the first time is I sat down to film, and my plan was to create 2 or 3 looks using this palette. So when I sat down, I did a full-on look, because that's usually how I like to do it. I like to actually like do all of my makeup to really get a sense and feel of how these eyeshadows perform and how they would look with a complete look. So that's what I did, and as I was finishing, I realized I never started recording. So that was a waste of time, but not so much, because I did realize that although the look wasn't bad, I was really trying to work with as many colors as possible, so it was very colorful and it looked nice, but it wasn't a look that I would ever wear out. Like, I would not feel comfortable wearing that anywhere, honestly. So I then decided that instead I should get to know this palette a little bit more, because there are 12 eyeshadows in here and because they're all metallic finishes. I felt like these are shadows that I needed to practice with to see how I would prefer to use some of these or combine and mix some of them. So I decided to play with them while recording. So in a little bit, I will be inserting those clips of me literally just playing with these palettes and just mixing different shades. So what I decided to do is I picked a few of these colors as my base color pretty much, and then layered random shadows over top. So for example, for the first look, I picked this shadow here, which is metallic number 11. And I applied this all over the lid on both of my eyes, and then I went in with other shadows on one eye and I started kind of layering, blending with those, and then I picked different shadows or one different shadow for my left eye, kind of played with it, also layered it to see how I like them. Again, to get to know these shadows, to get to know the palette a little bit better. Now I'm sure that's a technique that a lot of you may not agree with. You guys are probably not going to enjoy that part of the video, but I actually think it could be very helpful. So I hope you guys do watch that. I think I ended up working, how many shades did I work with? So I did 11, I worked with 12. I had to do this one. I think this one's number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, can't count. So actually no, this one's number 6. And is that it? I thought I did one other one. Oh, and then I also ended up doing this shade up here. So I used 4 of these shadows as my base and then played around with other colors. Like I said, I mixed them around. Literally, I was just playing to see how these performed and what I can do with this. So that actually helped me out to create this look in the end. So once I'm done showing you guys how I played with all of these, I will be inserting the clip of the tutorial on how I created this look. Now this one doesn't have a lot of color, but it's because I also wanted to play with these other shades that I had not used as a base. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be helpful. I really hope that it is. So let's go ahead and start with all of these little clips of me playing with them and then with the tutorial, and I will see you guys after. So we have reached the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. Let me know what you think about this palette. What do you think about the By Mario brand and the releases? Did you guys pick anything up? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And before you go, please do not forget to subscribe in case you haven't, so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time.